Before we get hands-on with spraying an actual client, let's first walk through the different parts of a spray tan gun. There are two types of spray tan guns, plastic and metal. They all work about the same and generally have the same parts. For this demonstration, I'm using a metal gun. This is a Fuji 7350. It's relatable to most guns that are on the market, which is why I choose it. It's also a very popular option for most spray tan artists. Let's go through the parts of this gun. First, we have the front nozzle. The front nozzle should always be vertical, like it is here. If it's even slightly off to the side, your spray pattern is going to be off and you're going to get an uneven tan. It should be completely vertical. Next, we have the ring. This should be really tight. You turn it until it's as tight as possible so that you lock this front nozzle in place. Once you do this once, you don't really have to touch it anymore. Now let's move to the back of the gun. We have two dials right here. This is the width control dial. If you have it completely vertical, you'll create a very wide spray pattern. If you have it completely horizontal, you'll create a very narrow spray pattern. What you want is something in the middle here. This creates a spray pattern that's not too big or too small. It's perfect for most people's bodies. This is another situation where once you set it, you can kind of leave it for the life of the gun. Now, we have the flow control dial. This you'll be messing with a little bit. When you turn it all the way in, so that there's no gap between the dial and the gun, you will be spraying no solution when you pull the trigger. You'll be able to feel you can't really pull the trigger at all. Now, as you start opening it up, like I am here, and creating more space between the dial and the gun, the flow of the solution is going to be faster and it's going to deposit more solution. There is no right or wrong way to handle this dial. You'll just have to figure out what you prefer. My general advice is when you're newer, have a slower flow of solution, and then you can open it up to spray faster and spray more as you get more comfortable. Okay, now we're going to jump to the cup of the gun. This is where you pour your solution. You can see it just screws off and on right here with the straw. This is the part of the gun that connects to the hose. We're going to connect to the hose here. I have my spray tan machine to the side. It connects to the hose, which connects to the gun, like so. I'm going to show you how the flow control dial controls how fast the solution comes out. Okay? I'm going to turn the machine on. Makes a little bit of noise. Now when you're holding the gun, just air is coming out. The solution doesn't come out until you pull the trigger, okay? We're going to turn the dial so that very little solution is coming out, almost none. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. You can barely even see anything, okay? Now I'm going to show you the opposite. This is about as far as it'll go out. So there's going to be a lot of solution coming out. I'm going to go with that. Tons of solution. So you can see the difference between these two. You might not even be able to see this, but here you can see a lot of solution. What you want is somewhere in the middle. At least most people do. So we're going to turn it so that it's all the way closed. And now let's turn it about one time around, plus about another half circle. This is usually where most people like to stand. I'll show you here in the middle. So we have still a wide flow of solution, but it's not drenched like it is right here. Show you again, just like that. It's important to clean these guns every single night. Failure to clean the gun results in a lot of corrosion and a splotchy spray pattern. You won't be able to use the gun, and they do cost a lot of money. So make sure to clean them every single night. You have to follow your manufacturer's guidelines on exactly how to clean your gun, but it's always a variation of the same thing. Remove the cup, remove the straw, rinse them both out. And then this is where you'll follow the manufacturer's guidelines. You likely will have to tip the gun upside down and then spray water into here through a faucet, and it'll come out the front nozzle. This is how you pour the solution into the gun. We have the cup here. We're gonna twist it off. Straw should be right here. You just wanna make sure that is secure. And then most cups will have little milliliters right here. It's pretty hard to see unless you look really closely, but you can see 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. For this client, we're gonna start at 200 milliliters. As you get better at spray tanning, you'll start to use less and less over time. But for beginners, I always recommend 200 milliliters to make sure that there's enough in the cup. We're using this bottle of solution. I'm just gonna pour it in until it hits about 200. Don't get hung up on it being exact. It doesn't matter. As long as you have some left over when you're done, that is the goal. Okay, now we're ready to start spraying her back. Right now, the gun is just spraying air, like we talked about. When I pull the trigger, that is when it'll actually start spraying her. Few things to note before we get started. When you start spray tanning someone, you never pull the trigger on their actual skin. You always start above the skin, pull, 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 release when you sweep off, okay? So, we're gonna pull the trigger. I'm not actually doing it yet, okay? Pull the trigger up here, down her back, sweep off, and release the trigger. If you were to pull the trigger on her skin, it would create a harsh line right here, which is why you always start above and end below. The next thing you want to focus on is making sure that the gun is always at 90 degrees until the very end. If you spray somebody at an angle like this or like this, you're at risk to get blotchiness. So keep it straight as much as you possibly can. We're gonna start on this side, going in vertical motions, and then we're gonna move, overlapping those lines across the back until we get to the other side. The gun should be about 6 inches away from their body. When you're starting out, you'll likely be a little bit further away, and as you get more comfortable, you can move further in, okay? So, I'm gonna pull the trigger, down, 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 and swipe off. Now, once you do this for the first time, you'll get a sense of how hard the gun is spraying. I'm going to adjust this gun down with this nozzle a little bit right here like we talked about before. That dial controls how fast it sprays out. I want a little bit less here. Now, I'm gonna overlap the next line. We're gonna go down again. There we are. Now we're gonna do the spine. We're gonna start at the head, all the way down the neck, and then down the middle. There we go. Now we're gonna go off to the other side. Keep on going. Down 1, and down 2. Now, the entire back is covered. If you notice a little bit of speckling right here, that's not a problem. Just dry it off a little bit, take one of your brushes, and then you can blot it. There we are. Perfect. You want to spend a little bit of time drying that area. And now we're going to move to the legs.